Hello, welcome to the vlog and Merry Christmas. Today is a special Christmas vlog. As I've mentioned before on several occasions throughout the year, people have asked me, can you cook on a narrowboat? How do you cook on a narrowboat? What do you cook on a narrowboat? And will you show us a video of you cooking on a narrowboat? And the answer to those are yes, you can do it, and no, I'm not going to show you, largely because I really don't cook. However, today I have a very special guest popping down the boat chimney to demonstrate cooking for you. No, not Santa Claus, but a close run thing. It's expert Gary from Yelvertoft. He's bringing along his wife and also two friends of mine, also from Yelvertoft Marina. And Gary is going to cook up the full Christmas turkey dinner with all the trimmings to show you that even in a narrowboat you can do a full meal. He says he can cook. Actually, I have no proof of this whatsoever, so this could be something of an experiment, but let's see how we get on. I've got the turkey all lined up and defrosting nicely after a night in the well deck. That should be enough. To get the process started, Myra decanted all the supplies they'd brought out onto the dinette table and kitchen worktops. All the usual veg, potatoes, sprouts, parsnips, onions, peas, carrots. This will be a feast, topped off with a bottle or two of good plonk. And homemade mince pies will come later after the meal, once we're onto the coffee stage. My contribution was Christmas crackers. So, let's get started. Here we are, this is expert Gary, as everyone will recall, most notably seen poking boats with a stick, usually.
Usually,
but
yes.
Today, culinary expert Gary.
Yes.
Culinary expert
We're
Gary.
going to be doing the full Christmas dinner.
Okay.
But first of all,
how do we do that?
We cook it.
Okay.
Yes, we get a turkey, stick it in the oven, but we have to check to see whether the oven is big enough for the pans, because David hasn't got any pans, we have to bring our own. So we're going to do that now.
Yeah, don't look at that.
Don't look at that, no, no.
Bag of bits.
Clatter,
Bag
clatter,
of bits.
clatter. Yeah, there you go, that is absolutely nothing here, look.
So can we do it, expert Gary?
It's doable, David. It's doable. I think it's going to be tight, but I think we'd have to sort of move things around. But it will be all right. We'll do it. It'll be great. Don't worry.
Step 1 is to get the turkey out of the packaging and pat it dry, apparently, using paper towels. So how would you normally do this turkey?
Well, I'd normally put a little bit of butter over it and a bit of pepper. But I think in this instance, because Myra's dairy-free, we'll just have to go with the pepper. Maybe just a little sprinkle of salt over the top of it, and that'll be fine. And a nice crispy skin, that'll be superb. So we're just going to let the oven warm up, get up to temperature, and then we'll stick it in. We're going to just put a little bit of oil over the top, just to give it a nice little base, so it gives them to base with it. That'll do. And then we'll just give that a bit of a, just a little bit of a massage in there. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so got a bit on that. Wash my hands, and we'll put a bit of pepper over there, and we'll get it into the oven. We're going to get the turkey in, give it a couple of hours, and then get it out to rest. Cover it. So in we go. Turkey is in.
What are we doing now?
Well, we're going to make some gravy. I'm going to get that ready so it infuses with the bay leaf. We're just going to put in there, and that will give us a nice little flavoured gravy. We've got some turkey bisto. Other gravies are available, but bisto, yeah. I'm going to put a little bit in there to make it nice and thick, and then we'll wash it down with some vegetables, water and that sort of stuff, you see. So there's a little bit of beef there. Right, there's lots of in there. Look, I always find it easy if you just sort of crumble these up like that, you see, in your fingers before you see? Get that in there. That will turn out quite thick to start with, but we'll water that down later. Just to get it going now, just to give a bit of flavour into it with the bay leaves and that sort of stuff. So give it a bit of a stir.
I think it's a black. Yeah, it is. I'm not sure.
And we'll put a bit of pepper in there. Okay, so we'll let that sit for a bit to get the flavours going. Then we'll try that a little bit later to see how whether we need to give it any more seasoning. So that can sit to one side now, and that'll be ready to go in.
At this point I'm slightly out of breath because I had to run over to another boat to get some salt. I don't have any salt on the boat. Apparently this is not normal. Expert Gary, what are we doing now?
Right, okay, we're going to make the Yorkshire pudding batter. Right, so we need to let that sort of settle and rest for a while. So I need to go over to my bag of tricks to get the flour out. So, ingredients, plain flour.
So did you get...
I'll do for that.
Yeah.
And flour. We'll have a couple of eggs in there. I'll put some pepper.
No, I'm not being silly.
A little bit of salt.
That's good salt, that is.
That's good salt. Good salt,
Nice
yeah.
that you were correct.
Pinch of salt.
Christmas lights.
Yes.
We're going to put 2 eggs in there.
That's nice.
But some of them do heading because they flash so much.
I don't like the
The
flash.
blue ones.
No.
So.
I mean, we have some that could flash.
Yes.
But I think this
2 eggs, and now we want a little bit of milk. That's that. Right, now give it a nice little whisk with the balloon whisk. Take your eggs. So on there you want a nice smooth batter. And you really want that to be the consistency of slightly thicker than double cream. Okay, that's enough milk. Well, I'm going to put a little bit of cold water in now, just to get it to the right consistency. It's exactly the same batter if you're going to make a pancake, just leave the pepper out and then just water it down slightly more. And one batter does everything. Right, there you go, that needs to sit and rest. Some people reckon you don't need to, but I always find it better. So that will go in 40 minutes before we eat.
With the preliminary bits out of the way, it was time to start the veg, and a suitably festive Myra stepped up to this task.
I wish the chef before would clear up before so that we all had room to do the veg. So I'm going to hand these back to Mr. Gary to put away. Thank you very much.
Miserable cow.
Thank
You want to try living with it?
Oh, look,
Well said,
and this.
But as culinary expert Gary reclined in my saloon, disaster.
What have you done to my chair? Well, it would appear that I've sat on the chair and broke it.
Much to the amusement of his wife.
What else was going to say? I mean, it's now officially broken. And if we have a look down here, David, we can quite clearly see.
Oh, it's come out of its socket.
No, the weld's broke on it. You see?
Oh, have you got your welding gear,
No,
Gary?
the weld's
You didn't
broke
bring
on
the
it.
welding gear?
I didn't bring the welding gear, but
Christmas
Well,
lunch.
what
I
else
can.
do you bring for Christmas lunch?
well, I just thought I didn't think we need the welder to cook the turkey. But as it turns out, we probably do.
Meanwhile, Myra was patiently getting on with things like peeling the potatoes ready for a roasting.
This is the potatoes done, ready to be parboiled.
And just explain what a parboil is.
Is just bring them to the boil and let them simmer for about 1/4 hour, just to get the edges soft, so that they will cook better in the oven to be roasted. This is parsnips, which again need parboiling before they are roasted.
On the table.
Keen to learn, I asked Myra for tips.
My top tip for narrowboat cooking would be make sure you clear up as you go, because otherwise you've got everything all over the place and you haven't got space to do anything.
What, do you agree, expert Gary?
Do I agree? No. I just think you should use every pan you have, right, and then get the wife to wash it all up. That's what happens on our boat, you see. So what you need to do is get all your pans out, David, you see, and you know, have a few more and put them over there with Myra, you see, because she'll get really annoyed at some point, and she's probably going to slap me, I don't know, but I do like a bit of honey on the top and things like that, you know, it's really cool. Okay.
Right,
Are you annoyed yet?
No, but
Oh.
would you like to remove all of those and wash them off before you put them away? Because they're covered in peelings.
True to her tip, Myra was sure to tip the waste peelings away from the parsnips before carrying on. Meanwhile, her husband Adrian was called in to show off his knife sharpening skills. But what about those parsnips?
These need to go into water until we parboil them, to stop them from going brown. They don't need as much parboiling as the potatoes. They don't need as long in the oven. Right, so that goes in there.
Given the amount of veg to be had, a team effort was called for. Some of the chefs' conversation was a bit suspect though.
Well, maggots is protein.
Yeah.
The critical item for Christmas, of course, is Brussels sprouts, and a vigorous debate ensued about whether to cut a cross in the bottom of them or not. Expert Gary was now so into the filming, he suddenly thought he was Steven Spielberg.
No,
Waiting.
Are you not ready?
no. Get a picture of Myra
Yes.
chopping the onion into
Yes.
quarters.
Okay. Are you ready now?
Ready now.
Okay.
Good.
Good, go.
Okay,
Go.
right. We're gonna
Start.
get the turkey out. We're
Yep.
gonna check it. We're gonna baste it, and we're gonna get the onions in.
Okay.
Okay. So that is looking absolutely gorgeous.
General
So a
public.
nice little base on there, Dave. And then what I'm going to use some of this to do the gravy.
Okay.
Okay, give it a nice bit of flavour. So a bit of turkey flavour on there. That'll do lovely, right? So we're now going to put the onions in.
This is a work of precision art, isn't
A
it?
work of art, mate. Yep. And that'll give the gravy a nice flavour as well. In a minute. Right, that'll do. Right, okay, we can now put the turkey back in.
Okay.
This time I'm going to change it around so it goes in that way because that's cooking a bit more. It's obviously hotter at the back of the oven than at the front.
So the turkey with its onion surround went back in, and the parsnips were added to the potato pan for their parboil. While they bubbled for a bit, bubbles of another sort were being opened outside by Adrian, who then dispensed them liberally while Myra had another top tip.
To save gas or electric, you use a steamer. So we have the frozen peas in the top. We have the sprouts in the next level. And we have the carrots already in the bottom.
With some water on
With some water on, and we boil that with these all on. Leave them for 20 minutes and it should all be cooked. It should all be cooked. We don't really want hard sprouts, do we?
What we're going to do now is strain the parsnips and potatoes, and we're going to let them dry. Because as I said earlier, the secret to a roast potato is to get them really dry. Oh, I've steamed up a bit there. Let them sit there. The steam will dry out.
Yeah.
Give them 5 minutes now, and then I'll put them on a sheet just to really dry out with a bit of kitchen towel, and they'll be lovely. So now we're going to get the stuff in and pigs in blankets and put them in a pan ready.
Okay.
It's just getting the prep sorted out and getting everything ready.
So these are simple pre-bought stuffing and
Yeah,
pigs in blankets.
nothing. Yeah,
Just need warming
just
up.
just warming up. Just make sure you take the bottom of that off there. That can go in there like that, and the sausages with pigs in blankets will be the same amount of time cooking. Well, they're very nice, David.
Are they?
Oh yeah.
Good.
That's going to sit there now, and it's always better to get things up to room temperature before you put them in the oven. It just starts the cooking off a little bit better and gets the temperature nice and right. Right, that can stay there. We're going to dry the potatoes a bit more and the parsnip, so on a little bit of paper towel.
When I was in this
She was a very forward-thinking woman.
Yeah, she was, yeah. Now, some people say you should give them a bit of a shake and that sort of stuff, but I just think you don't need to. You don't need to. Yeah, people do, but you don't need to do it. And a lot of the top chefs turn around and say it's old hat and you shouldn't do it. But anyway, there you go. Right, so they're going to dry for a little bit. And you see the steam's come off. They're going to be lovely when they go in. We'll put a bit of juice from the turkey around that, and that'll be great. We're now 2 hours in, 2 hours and a little bit, and we're going to have a look at the turkey to see whether it's cooked. It should be. So here we go. Take it out. It's looking lovely, golden. That is beautiful. And the key to it is to make sure that the juices run clear. So we're going to put it into the. I'll just hear that juices. See those running clear? Coming out, they're running clear. We've got some nice crispy skin. So that's now ready to come out and be wrapped, and that'll stay warm for a couple, 2.5 hours with foil and a cloth over the top, and that'll be absolutely fine. It needs to rest, You know, you imagine yourself in the oven in the heat. You all go and then you just got to relax, like that, and then you just got to relax out. Put some foil over it. We want to keep the moisture inside. We also want to keep it as warm as we can. This is going to have 2 or 3 sheets of this on it, and I'll get one right nice and tight round it. And we let it rest just so all the juices go back into it. That will stay warm for a good 3 hours, that will, and it'll be nice and tender. And then all we need to do then is put the warm gravy over the top just to warm that through slightly on the plate. And that can sit somewhere out the way till we're ready to carve.
As Myra's already said, keeping on top of tidying is crucial in narrowboat cooking, so the ever-reliable Adrian insisted on doing some washing up.
We're now going to put the roast potatoes in. I've put the tray
Where are we putting them in?
We're going to put them in the oven, Dave.
Okay.
Yeah, and
okay.
I've put the tray in just to warm the oil up a little bit, because you want that as hot as you can get it.
Okay.
To start the cooking, and you really want these when you put them in to sizzle as you put them in. So,
Oh, okay.
right, so they're nice and dry. Let's get these in. Look at that, lovely. Right, so I'm just going to cover these with a little bit of oil.
Right, drizzling a little oil.
Drizzle a little bit of oil.
Drizzle?
Just putting it over the top.
Do you want some more of my super
No, your single single malt oil. No, we'll. I think we need to consign that to the bin. I think that's probably the best.
That oil has served me well for at least 15 years.
Yeah, I think the best.
I'm not throwing it out now.
No, I think the best you can do is stick it in your engine, mate. I should imagine.
What, in the car?
Yeah, anything. Yeah, just don't put it anywhere near food anymore.
That ancient cooking oil had done a darned fine job of those potatoes, no matter how much Chef mocked it. What temperature are you putting them in?
Well, I've put them in on a gas mark 5, which I'll put the turkey on, but I am going to turn it up slightly to 6 just to get them going a little bit. And so that's gas mark 6 for about 45 minutes.
And have you put them on the top shelf?
I put them on the top shelf. Just depends on David's oven. Pigs in blankets and on the bottom shelf, so they can sit in there for a little bit longer, as we've only got one shelf in the oven. We're going to start the gravy off now, and so what I'm doing, I'm taking the fat from the turkey which was cooked in, and you've got all the juices from the turkey in there. So there's very little actual oil in that. It's basically all the meat juices. So I'm going to start that in there, and we'll just add to that. I'm going to put a little bit of flour in there just to, so at the end we get a nice luscious thick sauce or gravy. So we get that going like that. Right, I'll turn that down slightly. That front one, that's it. Turn that down. And I gave this a taste test, and this is fine. We're going to put a bit of this in, and then we'll use some of the water from the vegetables. So I add a little bit at a time just to mix that in, so it don't go lumpy. Those lumps there will cook through and cook out, and disappear. Trust me, they will. Yes. Right. There you go. Right, now we just need to let that come up to a simmer. We don't want to boil it. We don't want to overcook it at all. We just want that to simmer, and that can sit. And when we've got a bit of vegetable water, we can add that to it and get it to the right consistency. That will thicken up now, and then we can add a little bit of water later, just to bring it down to the consistency we want. Recheck the seasoning, and it is all about seasoning, flavour, salt, pepper, which David didn't have on the boat. He had to go and get some. But anyway, that's fine. That's fine. We'll forgive him for that.
Will you?
So, yeah, we will. Yeah, just this once. Yeah. Right. That's it. Okay, so that can now just sit there, bubble away a little bit, and then roast potatoes are in, pigs in blankets, stuffing. I think we're really on course now for a lovely Christmas dinner.
How long to go, do you reckon now?
I reckon we will have about an hour and 10 minutes, roughly.
Despite Myra and Adrian's best efforts, the galley was by now somewhat crowded, but everything had a reason to be where it was, and it was all doing something useful. The cushion, by the way, is helping to keep the turkey warm, of course.
Now we're going to get the parsnips in, so a little bit of oil in the tray there, not too much. And as always, we put it in to warm up first before we put the parsnips in. So in the oven it goes. In there, 5 minutes to warm up, parsnips in, and then when they're cooked, a little bit of honey glaze on them, they'll be perfect. Lovely. Gravy's doing, look. In there, I added some water while you were away. Got the thinners in, yeah. So yeah, we're pretty much on course. Yorkshires have got to go in, so as soon as the roasties are more or less sorted, I'll put the Yorkshire puddings in. And hopefully we'll get a good rise on those.
Okay, let's have a status update.
Okay, right,
Half an hour to go.
We're half an hour to go. The veggie's going on. The pan's in for the Yorkshires. Will take about 30 minutes. I've turned the oven right up to full whack to get them nice and risen and crispy. So the veggie's now going to go on. And we've got the onions to do. And then it's dish up time. Hey! Yes.
So it was now time to set the table, my guests having brought a Christmassy tablecloth. The plates were also out and ready for the food to be dished up. But there was so much steam I'd had to turn the fan on, so apologies for the noise. At this point I realise I only have 5 plates for the 5 of us. That sounds okay in theory, but the turkey is on one of them, so we're going to have to shuffle the turkey around in order to get all the plates out to do the dishing up. Just a couple more bits to get ready, the first of which is that batter mix going into the tray to make the Yorkshire puddings.
Straight in the oven.
And the honey glaze going onto the parsnips to give them that extra bit of deliciousness.
There you go, that's lovely. Right, peas are going on.
Now, for reasons I don't fully understand, the crew here think it'll be hilarious to see me carving up the turkey, so that's what I'm about to have a go at. I have never tried this before. There may be blood. Mine. But in fact, like so many other things, it turns out I'm a bit of a natural at it. These slices of perfectly cooked turkey coming away with neat precision and no fuss. Then it was on to the plates and the vegetables to dish up.
Davey's now carved the turkey very well, I have to say. We're now going to dish the rest of it up. So we've got
there
here,
is the rest of it.
Here's the rest of it coming out. We've got our pigs in blankets. So let me move it over to the other hand. Now that is
Quality.
They are quality roast potatoes. Now look at that.
Honey glazed.
Honey glazed parsnips. So it's just going to give them just a slight little turn over so they all get nicely coated.
A little slathering.
Yeah, they will be yummy.
Soon enough, it was all on the plates, and we all sat down to pull a cracker.
Yeah.
Oh no! Whoa!
What a meal. Look at this luscious plateful. So we ate, and we talked, and we laughed. And we ate some more. There was just one matter left, the Christmas pudding, set alight with a good dollop of cheap brandy.
Flaming marvellous.
Merry Christmas.